See ya. That's how you get a zero cycle. That's a top part skip.
G'day guys, how you going? My name's Tuckshop. This is my high level Araxxor guide. We're going to be using ranged. I'm going to show you the inventory and gear setup. We'll run through each of the phases, including phase 2 and 3, which will be the top path skip. So very fast burst damage. I'm going to show you exactly how it's done. The optimal rotation for phase 4, and then a couple of extra tips and tricks along the way. Let's get straight into it. Alright, here we have the inventory and the gear setup we're going to be using today. A couple of notable things are the Essence of Finality necklaces. One will have a Seren God bow and the other will have a dark bow for the special attack. Seeing as this isn't really a beginner's guide, I don't have to run through all of the gear. We will be using per criminal, so I want rubies and hydrixes. ECB is highly recommended here. That's a power burst of acceleration in my inventory there to zoom down the path. Inside my quiver, as I mentioned, are the ruby bolts. We're going to be preferencing Grimoire here. I've got a planted feat on my repriser, and the rest is pretty standard. Remember not to put the scrolls inside the Calgarian demon, because we want to activate it when it's absolutely necessary, and we don't want it pre-firing before that point. Other than that, I'm using Guthix rests and blubbers because they don't use adrenaline when eating, and we're going to need as much adrenaline as we can. Alrighty, now we're going to take a look at a live kill. So I'm going to run you through some of the things I'm doing and how we set up for the second part of the fight. So starting here, there's really nothing that notable. It's not necessary to stall a shard or anything like that for this rotation. Should have absolutely no trouble whatsoever clearing this damage before the web burns. The one thing I will note is that I'm taking caution as to when I'm using Greater Ricochet. In conjunction with the Hydrix Becriminal Bolts, Greater Ricochet will be a very fast method of gaining adrenaline if it procs. So I keep that in mind when using ultimate abilities. So the first one I'm saving up for here is going to be Incendiary Shot. I'm going to release that at about 70% in rage. This will be so I get an added crit bonus. Immediately after Incendiary Shot, I'm going to build back up to Natural Instinct, and then you saw I gained full adrenaline. Power Burst, I'm going to wait till he does his attack, then I'm going to zoom all the way down. You can bladed dive through the web at 99%. Drop the dummy, Death Swiftness. I want to be building adrenaline here, so Adren Pot. I'm going to ECB Spec. Use my Calgarian Demon special attack. This is why you don't keep the scrolls in there. Alright, the rotation here, Engineer the Humans. The rotation is going to be SGB, Snapshot, and then EOF Darkbow after you've done a Greater Ricochet. So if you haven't already realized, I just skipped an entire phase at Araxxor. Okay, I skipped phase 3. Araxxor will take about 5 seconds to heal after you head down that path once he's phased in, and 3 auto attacks. Okay, so what I did there, I did 100,000 damage before he could get the chance to heal, and that way I skipped straight into the final phase. Having a look at another kill here now, I'm going to run you through a couple of other things that are going on. Okay, so we already know I'm taking caution as to when I'm using Greater Ricochet. Same as usual, I will be building to Incendiary Shot at 70%. Okay, I'm camping Hydrix for phase 1. Something I might not have pointed out in the previous clip, you want to have as many auto attacks as possible, so that's why we go straight after Araxxor does his last attack on this phase. We don't want to be zooming down the path when he's only got 1 auto attack left. That will lead to an instant heal. Okay, so I nattied here. Again, acceleration, down I go. Drop the dummy. Alright, Death Swift. Now watch, as soon as I Adren Pot, Eldritch Crossbow Spec, use the Calgarian Demon Scroll, make sure you've got Ruby Bolts on, throw the Vuln Bomb. For this rotation here, I started with a Rapid Fire. cancelled after 2 ticks with the SGB. Then I did greater ricochet into snapshot. Okay, so that's another rotation you can use for this method. The archaeology relics that I'm running on this setup are Font of Life, Berserker's Fury, and Heightened Senses. The reason I'm using Heightened Senses is to gain that extra 10% adrenaline after my ultimate ability. This is really helpful at the end of the top path, so I can go, if I have full adrenaline, I can go straight from Seren God Bow, use my threshold, and then still have enough adrenaline for a Dark Bow special attack, even if I don't get the Hydrix Criminal proc. If you guys are enjoying this video so far and you like this style of guide, feel free to take a few seconds out of your busy life to like the video. Helps me better understand my audience, and if you guys like this type of video, I'd be happy to make more. For this one, nothing different. Okay, the setup is always the same. Done my incendiary shot, I build straight away. Straight after the natural instinct, I want to use greater ricochet. It will get my adrenaline up there with the Hydrix bolts. Power burst my way down, drop the dummy, target cycle, death swiftness. Okay, I actually got a relentless proc here, so I'm using ECB. Exact same rotation, ingenuity of the humans, Calgarian demon, Von Bomb. Here I did SGB, snapshot, greater ricochet into Dark Bow. So I'm going to show you, this was a prime example of a relatively perfect setup. There's the target cycle onto the dummy. I set up exactly as I normally would. ECB, Calgarian Demon, Ingenuity of the Humans, Von Bomb. So here I went SGB, Dark Bow, and I just missed. Okay, I missed by about 1k damage. And this will happen from time to time. I think here's another clip of me unsuccessfully doing it. There is a little bit of RNG factor to this, but for the most part, I can get consistent 8 out of 10 kills will be able to zero cycle. All right, here's another example of a fail through no fault of my own, just kind of shitty RNG. And this time I missed it by about 1000 HP as well, and I was not too happy. Finally, we're at the last part of the guide. This will be phase 4. The things needed are on the side of the screen there. All right, ECB, dummy. You want to be able to TC and throw a Von Bomb. I'll explain how and why we do all of these things, and I'll demonstrate with a couple of clips different rotations that can be used that will all be beneficial and maximize the amount of kills per hour that you can achieve. So you can use this method here if you're not using the top path, or if, for example, you were doing the top path but you weren't able to solo skip. So this is assuming death swiftness. Drop the dummy. So I'm going to ECB Von underneath him. Target cycle SGB first because I had minions and I want to get as much damage pumped out as possible. And then it's simply just a case of rapid fire. You can cancel with greater ricochet, but most of the time that will get all of the damage necessary. So this time I'm actually not going to have death swiftness, but instead I'm going to utilize the Eldritch Crossbow special. The dummy, all right. I'm going to throw a Von Bomb here. Target cycle SGB, rapid fire. It's also worth noting, for whatever reason, if you are doing top path and you didn't get the skip and you don't have dummies on you, you can actually build adrenaline on those spiders that are on the other side. Right, so here we are, Von Bomb, target cycle SGB first, as always. Then we're going to go rapid fire, greater ricochet. Okay, this is a very consistent way of getting, very fast phase 4s. Here it looks like I didn't get a top path skip, so what I'm going to do to make up for it is drop the Death Swift. Okay, my Dren Pot is still on cooldown. I'm going to ECB this time. Eldritch Crossbow is absolutely overpowered. It's insane at Araxxor. Okay, look at all that extra damage that just comes from the bow. And even without crackling there, I definitely would have gotten it. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is Seren Godbow, and then instantaneously you want to use Rapid Fire. Even if you didn't get a blood proc, you should still be getting at least 50,000 damage. And we do this especially if the top path is open, because after however many auto attacks were left, Araxxor or Araxi will spawn spider minions, and these can be mirrorbacks, and you will die instantly. So SGB first, always. You want to clear that 50,000 damage threshold as quick as possible. After that, it's just a case of either rapid fire, or if you don't have the adrenaline, you can use greater ricochet, or even snipe. I think one of these clips I used to snipe. For the most part here, I'm just demonstrating how consistently you can get these. Okay, that one there did not have a ruby proc on the SGB, and I still pretty much one hit the cunt. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you learnt something. If you did, leave the video a like. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments. As always, I stream pretty much every single day, twitch.tv. Come check me out and say hello, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.